Hello guys, I am back from another video and today we're talking about Deku was a mercenary. So, in the last video Deku, after Izuku woke up, he was told that he's going to be meeting his fiancée. After meeting Jiro, she explains that she's going to be going to UA. As Izuku finished talking to her, he starts getting ready for the first day at UA, which is just the entrance exam. So, after Izuku finished the written exam, it's finally time for the practical exam, where Izuku defeats the zero pointer with just his noble phantasm. Not really noble phantasm, it's more like his Zambania. If you don't know, I mostly based off the Hassan Aisaba from Hassan from Fate Grand Order. So, after feeding them, Izuku starts getting ready for his first day at UA. Literally, the actual first day at UA. So, Izuku finally meets all of his classmates as they're surprised seeing Izuku because he had a tan body, which is weird to them. So, after a bit of talking and also quirk, the quirk examination test, Izuku starts leaving, as it's basically the end of that episode. So, before this part ends, I want all of you to stay at the end of this video because I'm going to be telling you something important. And it's actually about the post that I made last time, which was a post about something important. So, let's talk about what happens next. So, Izuku is currently at Jiro's home with his mother, as several of the gang members that are a part of Jiro's dad's gang start cheering as they tip their glasses, as they raise up, as they clank together, as they say this: "Cheers for the mistress's husband," I guess. So, after they did that, they started drinking till the end of days. Like it was the apocalypse. As for Izuku, Izuku decides to just drink some grape juice, as in the middle, it was the father of Jiro, and right beside them is Jiro's mother, and right beside her is Jiro herself. As the father said this: "So, I'm really happy that you decided to come here, Mr. Izuku, and Miss... wait for a second... Miss Sakura," as she says this. "Oh, don't worry, we were not busy at the time." As Izuku just says this: "Yeah, we were not busy." As for Jiro's, she says this: "Well, it was a pretty happy idea, I guess, for my father to decide to bring you in." As his father says this: "Well then, enough of the chit chat. Let's start the party." As everybody started celebrating like it was the end of days. As after the party, Izuku decides to get some sleep with his mother. Like his mother was super sleepy and drunk. So, Izuku started leaving as Izuku brings his mother to her bed. Izuku was tired as well. So, Izuku goes back to the futon, which I just realized what it actually means, the actual Japanese name of that bed on the floor. Izuku goes onto his futon and goes to sleep. So, the next day comes as it's finally the day where they're going to be doing a special type of test. This test was apparently a surprise, but Izuku knows about it from after a while of information gathering. After all, he was a mercenary and also learned from the Asan Aisaba group. After a while of training, back in the day, Izuku learned how to spy. Pretty well, in fact. And Izuku was pretty much unnoticeable to normal people. So, when Izuku gets back to school, Izuku already knows about the whole special test, and also the special teacher that is gonna be doing that class, being All Might. So Izuku wasn't pretty surprised. So, when it's finally the time for All Might to arrive, All Might arrives. I mean, wait. All Might arrives as he says this in the hallway. I'm coming to the door like a normal person. As Ezekiel just says this. 3, 2, 1. As the door breaks, as several people said this. How did you know that? As Ezekiel just says this. I've been spying on him for a while. I also heard about the information about this teacher being All Might, so as he said this. So you know about it? As All Might arrives as he says this. You can call me All Might, and I'm gonna become your heroic creature. So, before we start this brand new class, what's with the hero without his or her costume? As he brings out several suitcases containing several prototype costumes, and one of them is for Izuku. So, Izuku's costume was actually not made by him, but instead by his mother. His mother was a bit of a fashionista back in the day, so she decided to make her costume for Izuku a bit, a bit too flashy. So, as All Might was given Izuku's, costume, and also started giving to Izuku, he says this towards Izuku. By the way, your mother was a completely eccentric person. By the way, maybe next time you should do it to your costume. At least, you know, yourself. So, Izuku and the rest of his classmates were told to go to the locker rooms to change. So, while changing, Izuku decides to change somewhere else, which was a pretty private place because the whole fashionista thing makes him embarrassed. So, after changing his clothes, the rest of the students basically arrived as they started showing off their costumes. But when Izuku arrives, they were shocked. So, when Izuku gets there, everybody was shocked at Izuku's costume, as one of them being Bakugo said this. What the heck is that costume? It makes you look like a general or something. As Izuku just says this. My mother made me decide to wear this. As one of them being Jiro said this. So your mother decides to make you wear that. I didn't know that your mother was a... Hey. As Izuku just says this. A what, Jiro? As she says this. A comedian. As for Momo, she says this. Yeah, Izuku, I never seen your costume before, and it actually kind of looks, over the top. As Izuku was kind of embarrassed, but just ignored it. So, the raffle starts getting ready, as Izuku was paired up with Momo, as their opponent was Jiro and Bakugo. So, everybody starts getting ready as they were told that Izuku and Momo are going to be the heroes, but for Bakugo and for Jiro, they're gonna become the villain. So, as they started getting ready, they were told to get ready to the building. So, Izuku starts waiting outside with Momo, as Momo says this. So, I'm guessing you're the guy that's supposed to protect me? The mercenary that my dad told me about? As Izuku just says this. Yeah, I'm Izuku Midoriya. I'm one of the members, or at least, well, outsiders, that were a part of the legendary group. In fact, the first assassination group, known as the San Aisaba. As she says this. Oh, I heard of them. Apparently they're the first assassination group, and their leader, Hassan, or King Hassan, was a great devout worshipper of the angel of death himself, Azrael, or something like that. As Izuku just says this. Correct. And he's currently still living right now. As she says this. Wait, really? As Izuku just says this. Yeah, it's pretty weird. It definitely looks like he has a quirk, but not really? I can't really tell. As she says this. Hmm. Either way, it's my first time actually meeting a person like you. As Izuku just says this. Nice to meet you as well. So, as they were told that it's time for them to go outside and go inside into the building so they can do their task. So, they started leaving as they go in the building where they're going to be fighting Bakugo and Jiro. So, when they get there, Izuku was told by All Might to get ready. So, Izuku gets ready and starts bringing out his blade. As they hear explosions, as they hear, "It's time for you to die, you nerds!" As Izuku just gets ready, as Bakugo appears right in front of Izuku saying, "It's time for you to die!" As Izuku wields up his blade, Izuku creates a slash that almost pierces Bakugo's arm, which kind of hurts. As Bakugo said this, "What in the... Hey, I told you not to hurt me." As Izuku just says this. "Well, you're supposed to be the villains, then maybe I should make you hurt a little." As he says this. "Why you..." As Izuku starts creating blades from his body, Izuku starts throwing at him. As Bakugo gets pinned to the wall, as one of his gauntlets was destroyed. As Bakugo said this. "Did you just destroy one of my gauntlets?" As Izuku just says this. "What if I did?" So, if one of your guns is destroyed, then it might be really important to destroy it, right? As he says this. Correct. As he pulls the pin and starts getting ready to explode and ignite the large explosion. So, Izuku's instincts kicked in as Izuku pushes Momo away, as the explosion causes the entire part of the building to collapse. After the explosion, everybody sees Izuku completely intact, even though, well, his stomach was stabbed by a piece of barbed, what do you call it? A metal pole, like the ones that are used for like supporting like projects basically for like buildings. As Baku, after seeing this, he says this. "When the... How are you not dead?" As Izuku just says this. "I have no idea, but either way, I'm kind of used to the pain. After all, I do mean to act like an assassin or a mercenary, and pain is just a part of the job." "And how annoying are you for daring to try and hurt me?" "Either way, I think it's better for you to run, because after that little display you made, I think it's time for you to get your just desserts." So, Izuku started creating several blades. As Izuku starts wielding them, like Kirei Kotomine when he's wielding the Black Keys in Fate Zero and Fate Heaven's Feel, or any part of the Fate timeline. And also kind of like similarly, like he's building it like Shiro, um what's his name? Shiro Amakusa from Fate Apocrypha basically. As when Izuku does that, Izuku says this. "Now, take this. Zombania, the fool." As Izuku starts stabbing Bakugo, but not lethally. This is just a weaker version of his true not noble phantasm. God dang it. I mean, I did inspire this Izuku of like a son, but I still got Fate Grand Order in the mind. Sorry, even though I erased the game. So, yeah. Izuku just stabs Bakugo but not lethally, and just leaves him there, saying, "Next time if you dare try me, or Momo, I swear to God, I will punish you." As Izuku just starts leaving him there. So, Izuku starts going upwards and sees the girl. This girl was Jiro. As Jiro says this, "So, Izuku, are you ready?" As Izuku just says this, "Don't worry, I won't hurt you. After all, I am married to you." As after Izuku said that in public, everybody was shocked, including All Might. I mean, everybody that's like not like didn't know about this, or like like left early before like Jiro said that, or Izuku just said that. So when All Might heard that, it was like a shock, as he thought in his mind, "Interesting." So Izuku starts getting ready, as Jiro starts screaming like a banshee, as Izuku starts enduring the sound. The reason why he's able to do that is because he created little blades that are similar to a earplug, but thankfully it doesn't stab him. So Izuku starts coming closer to her, as she starts like screaming at the top of her lungs, but she can't take it anymore, so she stops, as Izuku, well, just standing over there, just like standing in front of her. Izuku just pats her on the head and just karate chops her in the neck, causing her to basically fall asleep. So, after doing that, Izuku touches the bomb, or the fake bomb, and Izuku and Momo wins. So, everybody tells Izuku that he was the MVP of the match, while Momo was just there for, flavor, I guess. The rest of the students did their, wait for a second. Heroes vs. Villain tests pretty finely, but not as good as Izuku. So, Izuku was called the MVP, and Izuku started leaving with Jiro, as Jiro said this. Izuku, by the way, how did you learn that technique? As Izuku just says this. Oh, just a secret. So, it was about time for him to get some sleep, as Izuku was completely tired, as Izuku falls asleep. So, before you leave, guys, I mean, it's not really a surprise anymore. I did tell you guys in one of my posts. So, this is basically the end of the episode, but before you leave, guys, I'm gonna be going to college soon, and I may be planning to get Patreon. I've been thinking of this for a while now. The reason why I'm planning to go and make a Patreon is because of my father. He's a photographer, you see, and, you know, after the pandemic has started, recently his, job as a photographer has been declining. So I want to help him. I want to make a Patreon so I can help him out. So please, if I were to make a Patreon, can you please help me? So, and another reason why is because I'm if the pandemic ends, and if I were to move out of my parents' house, I want to actually make an income, or at least a steady amount of income. So, yeah, I mean, it's a serious topic to, you know, to be sure, but this is a topic that I've been trying to hold out on for a while now. So, if you want me to make a Patreon, I would gladly do it. But for now, I didn't make a Patreon. And if I do, I'm probably gonna make one when I finally get to college. But for now, I'm still in 10th grade. So, yeah. This is actually quite a serious topic. So, yeah. This will be the end of the episode, even though it's quite a short one. So, I hope you liked the video, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.